Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing a reflection on over-organizing. Last year I was my first year of homeschooling, or this last year, and I tend to be an over-organizer. That's a habit of mine that I tend to do, but I definitely did that in my first year of homeschool. And I thought I would share some of the reflections on my thoughts on that. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. All right, so today I wanted to kind of talk to you about some of the things that I overdid in my homeschool. When I started doing this homeschool thing, I started to look around at all the organization on Pinterest and all the things, and was overwhelmed by all the things that I had to get ready and organize. And we were going through our own, we homeschooled through our own selves this last year. We were not a part of any school or program. We were our own private school in the state of California. We can be that. And so we were, and so I needed to make sure I had everything in order and had all those things done. And so when I started looking at those things, I started looking for help, and I came across Christy Clover of Raising Clovers. I think she's just now Christy Clover, and she has a homeschool organization video that is wonderful. It's very, very, very good. However, it can be just even more overwhelming, and make you even more feel crazy. But it gave me somewhere to start, and so that's what I did. And I used her checklist system. I used or a kind of idea of the checklist system for each of my kids. I used her crate system, and I also used some of her other things just to organize our life and our routine. And in doing so, we started our year, and it started off great. However, certain things got pushed to the side and not used. And so I thought I would just kind of share those thoughts. The crate system worked for a little while. We were doing one curriculum that needed to be scheduled out, and had one thing per week. And so it worked for that. However, for our reading curriculum that we ended up not doing, I had filed it one lesson per day, and then we ended up having to reorganize everything numerous times. And so I found myself pulling stuff out and putting that stuff back in, and I was just over organized. And I know that she talks about tearing apart workbook pages, and that can work, and it worked for like our critical thinking, which is just one thing a day instead of doubling up on anything. And it really never changes, because it doesn't matter if you don't, it doesn't matter if you don't get to it or whatever. It's just an extra thing. Handwriting is the same thing. You just do one lesson a day, and it's just gonna fall on that. With curriculum like My Father's World, it works that way, and it works well. However, for other things like math and reading and spelling, you just need to do the next lesson. And so that didn't work for me, and it just didn't work out well at all. So we nixed the crate system for the most part. We still have our My Father's World kindergarten stuff in the crate, and we still have all we have in the crate is critical thinking and handwriting, and everything else has been pulled because it just kind of got too much. And as the homeschool year has gone on, I've just kind of dropped it, other than to grab a few things. So it did take up a lot of space, and it can work, and I think it's a good thing if everything is very planned out and ritual like that. However, for us, it didn't. My son blew through a lot of curriculum this year just because he was moving at a faster pace, and I thought that might happen just because he was ready last year for school, and we didn't start him for a variety of reasons. But so because of that, the crate was just too much, too over-organized, too crazy. Now, this next year, we're going to be doing My Father's World for both my kids. And so we'll use the crate for that, and I'll put things by the week in that and have those things planned out for us. However, other things we won't put in there. Like I won't put math, and I won't put reading and spelling and all of those things that I tried to put in there my first year. So that was the first thing I learned. The other thing I did, this is my checklist that I created for our homeschool year last year. And in it, I have some of our personal information. But one of the things I did was I created a schedule with times, which Christy does tell you not to do, but I created kind of a block schedule just so that I could get my head wrapped around how we were going to do all of the things. And this changed like instantly. So this ended up not being a moot point. We do have our attendance records. So we have to keep. Which that I used. I showed this calendar in a previous video of our plan for the time. And there's a year at a glance calendar that I did. I've not looked at this again since I found this one, the one I showed previously. I didn't need this year at a glance. But this is, again, something that Christy does as a part of the curriculum. But the thing that I did the most crazy was I took every week and I input everything that we were going to be doing. I put the first, what hymn we were going to be studying, topics we were going to go over, what our Bible lesson was going to be, our literacy lessons, our math, science, social studies. And let me tell you, Bible changed towards the end because we sped up. Literacy ended and changed. Math changed in that we sped up for my son. Science, we completely changed our science curriculum. History, we kind of did it that way, but I didn't follow this plan. Art got nixed once my youngest stopped taking his naps. And our holidays and field trips, most of those did not occur. So I had worked hours on this plan. And it's a beautiful plan. Really was. But I didn't use it. So don't do this. Don't kill yourself. I mean, if it helps you to get your mind wrapped around things, then okay. Because it helped me to not feel so crazy. But, I mean, it just was a little nuts, and I spent a lot of time on it for something that totally got changed after the first 6 weeks. So that was another lesson I learned, that I just needed to not over plan. Another thing I did was I created these sheets, which I love this, and I loved the idea of it. It just didn't always occur because plans changed. But I created a sheet that would go with the curriculum that we were going to be covering and the topics that we were going to be covering during that month. After I had made that other thing, I put books that I wanted to check out from the library or purchase. I had things that I needed to prep for those weeks and the supplies. Now, this was helpful, except I did it for the entire year instead of doing it once a month, which I should have just done it like a month at a time instead of the entire year in one foul swoop, because things changed. Our curriculum sped up and or slowed down, or we moved things around, and then I never looked at these again. So they're really cute and they ended up really nice looking. However, I didn't use them. The other thing that I put in this was I had a tab for each of my kids and the things that they were going to do. And the curriculum changed, so most of these tabs are invalid, and I ended up not using them, and I never really looked back at these tabs. Same went for my daughter and her curriculum. and such like that. In this book, I also put our homeschool proposed days. I guess we only need 160 days. I can't remember, but we this is a form that I have on a website that is for California homeschoolers, and then I have my course of study, which I'm glad I did because I have to turn that in as far if they ever ask me what we did. And then I had my curriculum overview flu plan that I put in there, as well as we have to keep an immunization information sheet in every child's form. So, anyways, while this concept was good, it being my first year, it wasn't good. And I ended up creating my own homeschool planner that I have changed 3 or 4 times because life has changed. I've dropped things, I've added things. So I guess my biggest advice in all of this to say is do large planning, not micro planning. So do macro planning, not micro planning. And then plan just for short periods of time. Like for the next 6 weeks, for the first 6 weeks, we're going to do this. And like I have planned out for next year a year view overview, and it's very small. It's just what the curriculum is telling us we're going to be studying and how we can work in other curriculum alongside it. Just so that I can have like what things are going to be paired together for my own sanity. But it's a very macro plan versus a micro plan. So anyways, those are the hard knocks life lessons that I learned as a first-time homeschool mom. The other thing that changed on us is I made a beautiful homeschool room that I'm not in today because we have ducklings living in our homeschool room right now. And we, when my 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old, stopped taking his nap, we stopped using the homeschool room because he could not be in the room without tearing something apart. And the room was just not baby proof. So we came and moved our school out to the living room, and honestly, we do a lot of school outside, and that's one of the joys of homeschooling in Southern California is that we can school outside most days. And so we do a lot of schooling on the couch and schooling outside on our couch outside and those types of things. And so I just, as a first year reflection, would say just give yourself grace. I'm totally laughing at myself and think it's hilarious that I was so tightly wound and overdid everything. But I also think that it's better to have overplanned than underplanned. So if you are the type to overplan, then do it and just learn. You're going to learn as it goes that your plan's not going to work completely how you see it working, and it shouldn't. As you go as a first-time homeschool mom, you have to figure out how you are as a homeschool mom and how your child is as a homeschooler and all of those things. So I just hope that was helpful, and if it was, please give it a thumbs up, and sorry to be babbling at the end. Have a great day.